Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Drayhon, back once again with another Dungeons & Dragons character conversion. If you are new to this series, I, your gracious host, goes through every single work of fiction that there is, whether it be a book, video game, TV show, or movie, or in this case, anime, and take a character from that work and convert them into a playable character in Dungeons & Dragons. Now, other channels might try to use the mechanics of certain races and classes to try to fit how that character functions. I do not. I look at the lore of not only the character, but of the classes. What does it mean to be this type of class? What does it mean to be part of this subclass, this background, this race? And I use that information to build a character. Down to the rules as written and the lore. The canon. So, today we are talking about Orphen, one of the greatest animes that I have had the joy to watch. And recently, by that I mean last year, it got a reboot series. Now, in addition to the anime, it also has its own manga, which also got a reboot. So there is a lot of material to cover. So give me just a moment while I binge watch this new series. Oh boy, that was a train wreck. The reboot. Yeah. It was alright. Not the best. Wow. Okay. Well, it does give me some more information to work on. But I don't recommend watching the reboot series until after you watch the original anime of Orphen. That was way better. A lot more grittier. Now, let's go ahead and talk about making Orphen into a playable Dungeons & Dragons character. As always, I will be starting off with stats using the point buy system. For Orphen's stats, we have a 12 for strength, 14 for dexterity, constitution will be a 10, intelligence is a 13, wisdom will be a 10, and charisma will also be a 14. For race, he is obviously a human. We'll go ahead and use the variant human for this build. Increase your intelligence and your charisma each by 1. You get 30 feet movement speed. Skill, grab Arcana. For your feat, grab the Fighting Initiate unarmed fighting style. Orphen has been seen a couple of times using only his hands to fight. Whenever he's not using magic, of course. For languages, grab Common and Dwarvish. The two little pipsqueaks that owe Orphen a lot of money are apparently dwarves. So it's best to know the language. For background, I am a little bit torn between the Urchin background or the Haunted One background. I'm kind of playing favorites, so we're going to go ahead and grab the Haunted One background. You would probably be a little bit scarred if your older sister suddenly transformed into a dragon. Actually, I don't think she could be counted as a dragon. We'll just say monstrosity. Anyways, Oh, I forgot to mention. Skills, grab Investigation and Religion. Languages, grab Celestial and Elvish. Your feature is Heart of Darkness. Alright, let's go ahead and go with the Sorcerer class to start off with. You get a 1d6 hit die. Your saving throws are Constitution and Charisma. For skills, grab Intimidation and Persuasion. Orphen's pretty intimidating when he wants to be. Your spell casting uses your Charisma modifier. And for your Sorcerous origin, according to the reboot anime, the Sorcerers come from a draconic bloodline. So, draconic bloodline sorcerer would make sense. Grabbing either the brass or gold ancestry would be a little bit more fitting. However, in Japanese mythology, dragons are considered to be divine beings. So, the origin of the divine soul, good for obvious reasons, would best fit Orphen as well. Plus, Orphen does use a couple of healing spells, so it would make sense to have access to some cleric spells, which the Divine Soul Sorcerer gives you. So, we'll go ahead and use it for this build, but I will mention the Draconic Bloodline as well, for those of you who would rather go that route. Level 2 Sorcerers get a Fount of Magic. Level 3 Sorcerers get Meta Magic options. I would say the Quicken spell and the Transmuted spell would best fit Orphen's character. For a Level 4 Sorcerer, you'll want to grab a feat. If you grab the Draconic Bloodline, just like I said with the Divine Soul Sorcerer, you will need to gain access to healing spells. So grab Magic Initiate using Bard. Grab Blade Ward and Vicious Mockery for your cantrips, and the Healing Word spell for your first level spell. If you went with the Divine Soul Sorcerer, just grab the feat Metamagic Adept, getting the metamagic options of Subtle Spell and Seeking Spell. Now, I already know what you're thinking, viewers. For those of you who have seen the original anime, you're probably thinking, why on earth are we going the Sorcerer route and not the Wizard route? Orphen went to the Tower of Fang, a school full of other sorcerers who are learning magic. That is a wizard thing. Well, yes, that is true. Orphen has been shown to be able to use magic without being taught it. And all of the sorcerers in the series were born magically inclined. Especially Orphen, who at the time was named Galantalo. Anyways. Well, so we are a sorcerer for the start of this build. However, I do see your point. And yes, he does learn many spells from the Tower of Fang. So it makes sense to multi-class into a sorcerer, which gives you another 1d6 hit die. And your spellcasting for your wizard spells is going to use your intelligence modifier. This is why we had our intelligence score at a 14 when we started. You also get ritual casting and arcane recovery. Level 2 wizards get an arcane tradition. There are 2 arcane traditions that fit Orphen quite well. One being the Order of Scribes, and the other being the Blade Singing. Now, personally, I would want to go with the Order of Scribes because of the ability to change the damage of some of the spells to whatever you want. So you could technically get that Sword of Light that Orphen likes to use, even if it's not an actual spell. However, there's also the fact that Orphen does know how to use a blade. He is quite proficient in swordsmanship, so blade singing is another good option. Especially when he learns to use the sword. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, when he uses that magic sword. So, with blade singing, you get the bonus proficiencies in light armor, a weapon of choice. Let's go with a longsword. It has to be one-handed, but yeah. You also get skill and performance. You also get the blade song feature as well. If you went through the order of scribes, however, you get the wizardly quill and awakened spellbook feature. Level 4 wizards gets an ability score improvement. Increase that intelligence to a 16. And at 6th level wizard, you get a feature based on your arcane tradition. If you went with the order of scribes, grab the manifest mind. And if you went with blade singing, you get an extra attack. So yeah, even more reason to go with a blade singer. Alright, I think that's all the time I have for you today, my dear viewers. I hope you do enjoy. And if you want to see a certain character in the next video, be sure to leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to add it in the next video. Until next time, this has been Drehan, and I am offline.